The human brain contains over 100 billion neurons, which is more than the number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. This staggering statistic highlights the intricate complexity of the human brain. The brain is often referred to as the most complex organ in the human body. Its sheer size and number of neurons make it a fascinating topic for study and research. For centuries, scientists have been trying to understand the workings of the brain. One of the most significant breakthroughs came from a man named Santiago Ramon y Cajal. Cajal, a Spanish neuroscientist, discovered the concept of neurons and their role in the brain. He proposed that neurons are the basic building blocks of the brain and nervous system. Cajal's theory revolutionized the field of neuroscience and paved the way for further research. But that's not the strangest part. Cajal also won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1906. Wait until you hear what comes next. Cajal's discovery was made possible by a curious insect named the cockroach. Yes, you heard that right, a cockroach helped scientists understand the human brain. The cockroach's simple nervous system made it an ideal subject for studying neural connections. Researchers studied the cockroach's nervous system and found that it shares many similarities with the human brain. This phenomenon occurs when a complex system, like the human brain, is studied through a simpler organism. It's like looking at a grain of sand, containing an entire library of information. In this case, the cockroach's nervous system contained clues to understanding the human brain. Scientists discovered that the cockroach's nervous system has a similar structure to the human brain. This structure is made up of billions of neurons, which communicate with each other through electrical signals. Imagine a grain of sand containing an entire library of information, and you'll get an idea of the complexity of the human brain. But that's not the only fascinating aspect of the brain. Its neural connections are also incredibly dynamic. The brain's neural connections can change and adapt throughout our lives. This process is known as neuroplasticity, and it's essential for learning and memory. For example, when you learn a new language, your brain creates new neural connections to store the information. But that's not the only way the brain adapts. It also changes in response to injury or disease. In some cases, the brain can even rewire itself to compensate for damaged areas. This phenomenon is known as neuroregeneration, and it's a vital process for recovery. But that's not the strangest part. The brain can also change in response to our emotions. When we experience strong emotions, such as fear or joy, our brain releases chemicals that affect neural connections. It's like a switch being flipped, and our brain responds accordingly. This process is known as neurotransmission, and it's essential for our emotional well-being. But that's not the only way our brain responds to emotions. It also affects our behavior. When we experience a strong emotional response, our brain can influence our actions. For example, when we're scared, our brain releases chemicals that make us want to run away. This is an automatic response, and it's essential for our survival. But that's not the only way our brain responds to emotions. It also affects our creativity. When we experience strong emotions, our brain can stimulate our creativity. It's like a spark being ignited, and our imagination runs wild. This process is known as emotional inspiration, and it's essential for artistic expression. But that's not the strangest part. Our brain can also change in response to our environment. When we're exposed to new environments, our brain can adapt and change. It also affects our perception, and our brain responds accordingly. This process is known as neurogeography, and it's essential for navigation. But that's not the only way our brain responds to our environment. It also affects our perception. When we're exposed to new environments, our brain can change the way we perceive the world. It's like a lens being adjusted, and our brain responds accordingly. This process is known as perceptual adaptation, and it's essential for survival. But that's not the strangest part. Our brain can also change in response to our social environment. When we're exposed to new social situations, our brain can adapt and change. It's like a script being rewritten, and our brain responds accordingly. This process is known as social neuroplasticity, and it's essential for social interaction. But that's not the only way our brain responds to our social environment. It also affects our behavior. When we're exposed to new social situations, our brain can influence our actions. It's like a character being introduced, and our brain responds accordingly. This process is known as social cognition, and it's essential for social understanding. Want more mind-blowing facts? Hit subscribe and join our journey of discovery. If you found this fascinating, subscribe for more incredible stories like this. Subscribe to explore more amazing discoveries. And let me know in the comments what fascinates you most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.